US President Joe Biden's Poland visit concluded with a massive statement against Russian aggression after meeting the refugees who fled Ukraine amid the Russian assault. The US President called Putin a butcher. In a first since the start of the war, Biden held a meeting with Ukrainian ministers in Warsaw, sending across a message of solidarity. Biden praised Ukrainian President Zelensky and said that the entire world is standing by Ukraine. Earlier, the US President had visited Rzeszów, a town close to the Ukraine border, where the US troops are stationed. The West has piled sanctions on the Russian economy and is already crumbling under the weight of it.
Russia was bent on violence from the start. I know not all of you believed me and us when we kept saying they are going to cross the border, they are going to attack. Repeatedly, he asserted we had no interest in war, guaranteed he would not move. Repeatedly saying he would not invade Ukraine. Repeatedly saying Russian troops along the border were there for training, all 180,000 of them. There's simply no justification or provocation for Russia's choice of war. It's an example of one of the oldest human impulses, using brute force and disinformation to satisfy a craving for absolute power and control. The private sector is acting as well. Over 400 private multinational companies have pulled out of doing business in Russia, left Russia completely, from oil companies to McDonald's. As a result of these unprecedented sanctions, the ruble almost is immediately reduced to rubble. The Russian economy, that's true, by the way, takes about 200 rubles to equal $1. The economy is on track to be cut in half in the coming years. It was ranked, Russia's economy was ranked the 11th biggest economy in the world before this invasion. It will soon not even rank among the top 20 in the world. American forces are in Europe, not in Europe, to engage in conflict with Russian forces. American forces are here to defend NATO allies. Yesterday I met with the troops that are serving alongside our Polish allies to bolster NATO's frontline defenses. The reason we want to make clear is their movement on Ukraine don't even think about moving on one single inch of NATO territory. We have sacred obligation. We have a sacred obligation under Article 5 to defend each and every inch of NATO territory.
Ukraine has entered day 32 and Russia's war machine is not slowing down. Fresh explosions were reported in Ukraine's western city of Lviv as President Joe Biden wrapped up his visit to neighboring Poland. Meanwhile, Ukraine's capital has announced a new 35-hour curfew. Kyiv mayor said that the curfew will run from 8 p.m. local time on Saturday to 7 a.m. on Monday, with local residents allowed to leave their homes only to get to a bomb shelter. In Mariupol, residents are hunkering in basements as they try to stay alive amid the destruction around them. The southern port city has suffered relentless shelling since Russia began its operation in Ukraine. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky expressed gratitude towards his soldiers on National Guard Day. Zelensky awarded troops and clicked pictures with them.
This is the name of the cycle factory. It was a bicycle factory. Ardes, a big cycle factory here, which was destroyed by this missile strike. Look, the smoke in the air everywhere, and the whole factory was destroyed. This is the name, Ardes. Look here, from this end to that end, which is about 200 meters away, everything destroyed. This factory was hit in the morning by a missile, a Russian missile, and still the fire is burning, and it looks like that attacks which we suppose have probably stopped are still going on, but they have not happened in the Kyiv city proper. This place is about 15 to 20 kilometers away from the city, very close to Irpin, where the fighting is going on, and we can hear anti-tank weapons firing probably on Russian tanks, and this firing is probably done by the Ukrainian forces. This is Rajesh Pawar for India Today on the 31st day of the war. I'm right now here in the old quarters of Kyiv city. This is wartime, 31st day of the war, and people are having a small concert here. and they are trying to find some little joys. Somebody showed up. Focus for So this is a small concert which is going on. A friend of mine informed that this is how people in these war times are trying to cope up and trying to find some kind of solace and happiness in these difficult times. Can you share a cathedral also? So, keep it there for a time. This is a very ancient cathedral, one of the landmarks of Kyiv city, and this is the old port of the city. You can see this. Cobblestones, the streets. This is the old quarters of Kyiv city. This is Rajesh Pawar for India Today on the 31st day of the war from Kyiv city.
The western Ukrainian city of Lviv, which has acted as a safe space for Ukrainians fleeing the war, has become the latest target of Russian airstrikes. According to reports, 3 loud explosions were heard near Lviv on Saturday, triggering air raid sirens in the city. 5 people were injured in the blast in the outskirts of Lviv. Heavy black smoke was seen rising from the northeast side of the city. The attack on the western city came at a time when US President Joe Biden was in Poland, a distance of mere 400 kilometers between Biden and missile strikes. On day 32 of the war, Russia continues bombardment in Ukraine. In the latest, the Russian Defense Ministry has released footage of what it said was the launch of Caliber cruise missiles, which hit the target in the Zhytomyr region in the east of Ukraine. In the last few days, Putin's army has launched several missile attacks on Ukraine. Earlier, Russian forces launched missiles from the Black Sea and several other locations on Ukraine. Lusk Military Airfield, Ivano-Frankivsk Air Base, in fact, Melitopol Air Base and several other airfields in Ukraine have already witnessed Russian bombardment, which led to mass destruction and loss of lives. Russia-Ukraine war has entered the second month. While Putin has failed to capture major cities of Ukraine, he has indulged in a dangerous game of nuclear brinkmanship. Here's a report.
Ukraine is bleeding and fighting. Second month into invasion war. While Russia has failed to capture major cities of Ukraine, it has indulged in a dangerous game of nuclear brinkmanship. It has now emerged that Vladimir Putin played out a major act of nuclear blackmail. Just hours after putting his nuclear forces on a special state of alert, Moscow had escalated its nuclear posturing. Several Russian submarines capable of carrying 16 ballistic missiles each had sailed into the North Atlantic. In a clear message, an act of nuclear muscle flexing. According to reports, Russian President Vladimir Putin sent the nuclear submarines into the North Atlantic one day after issuing a chilling threat to the West. European media reports, however, suggest that this was mere posturing rather than a genuine nuclear threat. Since then, the submarines have returned to Russian bases. But not before spooking nuclear watchers in the West. Putin has the world's largest stockpile of nuclear warheads, thousands of which are thought to be tactical and designed to eliminate enemy targets in a specific area without causing widespread devastation. And this isn't the first time Moscow is using nuclear deterrence and offensive strategy. In 2014, Putin used a similar strategy during the annexation of Crimea, moving nukes around in a chilling act of threat. With a possible nuclear threat around the corner, the Western intelligence continues to keep a closer eye on Putin's nuclear arsenal. According to a Western official, there has been no evidence of nuclear warheads being loaded onto missiles destined for Ukraine so far in the conflict.
According to reports, Russian President Vladimir Putin sent nuclear submarines into the North Atlantic one day after issuing a chilling threat to the West. Several Russian submarines capable of carrying 16 ballistic missiles each sailed into the North Atlantic.
Bureau Report, India Today.
Against the backdrop of sanctions and the withdrawal of foreign companies from Russia, Russians are facing a shortage of several drugs, which has resulted in massive panic buying of the medicines by citizens. Here's a report.
Second month of the war. Amidst devastation in Ukraine, sanctions hit Russia too continues to take a blow. Rising inflation and panic buying by Russians are the order of the day. Sanctions imposed by the West continue to impact every ordinary Russian. With several US-based drug makers deciding to put an end to their operations in Russia, citizens are panic buying essential medicines. Queues of patients can be seen lining up in Moscow's pharmacies, fearing a shortage. India Today visited pharmacies in Moscow's center only to find that some essential medications mentioned in Russia's Vendomosti publication remain out of stock.
My case was searching for a medicine called Eutirox, or its substitute L-thyroxine. It's intended to help with thyroidal diseases, one that my grandma has. I checked multiple of pharmacies, but all of them were empty.
Russian pharmacies are finding it difficult to pay for deliveries. The medical crisis is a major immediate fallout of the sanctions which have cut off Russian banks from the international financial system SWIFT, used by many of those banks.
We're also announcing new sanctions of more than 400 individuals and entities in alignment with the European Union. More than 300 members of the Duma, oligarchs, and Russian defense companies that fuel the Russian war machine.
While Russian authorities claim that there are no problems with the production and supply of food and medicine, the on-ground reality speaks for itself.
People have to stand in queues and people have to make reservations, and they only can receive one this tablet and one of this medication for one person. So this is why we have seen the frightening Russians who were trying desperately to find this medication. Elna Banazarov, especially for India Today, reporting from Moscow.
The political battle in Pakistan is approaching its grand finale. A united opposition gunning for Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan. The National Assembly's crucial session on the no-trust motion against Imran was adjourned. Imran Khan got a temporary reprieve and possible time to muster numbers. Pakistan Interior Minister Sheikh Rashid said voting on the no-confidence motion is likely on April 4th. Earlier, Imran Khan threatened his party's rebels with lifetime disqualification if they side with the opposition. Imran Khan has mostly failed to deliver on his pledge of a Naya Pakistan. The opposition is targeting Prime Minister Khan over the economic crisis and runaway price rise. Imran recently drew opposition ire after saying he is not empowered to control the prices of aloo tamatar. Imran and Pakistan Army Chief have locked horns on several occasions in the last 1 year. They also disagreed over the appointment of Pakistan's ISI chief. In the 342-seat Pakistan Assembly, the opposition needs 172 votes to dislodge Imran Khan. Imran Khan is slated to address a crucial rally next on Sunday.